Turn. Welcome to another Brantim Live. I'm your co-host, Brandon E. Brooks.
And I'm Tim Milliken.
All right, we have another fantastic guest. We'd like to thank all of our previous guests for coming on that'll join us at the Atlantic City Celebrity Convention. We're going to do a little bit of business before we bring our guest up that's in the green room.
Yeah, so tonight is the last night to purchase or to enter the raffle that we're going to do on Thursday, the Brendan Sexton show this Thursday. We're going to do a live drawing for the Ultimate VIP 2 passes. So for anybody who's purchased, like from the moment we opened up the ticket sales, anybody who's purchased or anybody who purchases 2 weekend pass, at least 2 weekend passes between the beginning and May 15th, you'll get an entry into the live drawing, and then we'll do it on the show. The Ultimate VIP pass gets you into the VIP kickoff party on Thursday. It's $250 value. Then for $125 value, the Friday night VIP after party, and then the Saturday night VIP after party with another $125 value. And then obviously the weekend pass included. So, that's $100 value plus an Ultimate VIP t-shirt, limited edition, obviously, because only the Ultimate VIPs will get those. And that's a $25 value. So it's a decent value. And especially when you're only spending $100 weekend pass to get all that, potentially get all that stuff. If you miss the drawing for that or miss the entry for that, you can still purchase that after the fact for $400, where you still save $225, which is dope. So, or you can just buy which one of those VIP after party stuff. So, that's what's going on. And yeah, we got the show Thursday with Brendan Sexton. So that'll be cool. And that's really most of the business side. Oh yeah, so go to brantim.realms.tv. And if you want to volunteer, if you want to be a vendor, we're still looking for tattoo artists to pick up a vendor table, and we're gonna have a little tattoo alley there at the con, which would be cool. So yeah, fun stuff. Go to brantim.realms.tv.
Also, if you want to sponsor us, you want to sponsor a dope event, please hit us up as well. We're always looking to collaborate with not just local businesses in Atlantic City, throughout the whole Delaware Valley. So yeah, if you're interested in that, hit us up right there at that link right there. You see brantim.realms.tv. All right, tonight is a guest that I've known for the better part of the last 20 years. I mean, it's been a long time. We've worked together, numerous things. She's a model. She's been on numerous magazine covers. She's also a fantastic actress and stuff that I'm on. She also has delved into music quite a bit. We'll talk a little bit about. She's an amazing special effects artist right here, and just many other faces along the way that she's done. Without further ado, welcome to Brantim Live, Fallon Maressa.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm swell, thanks.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Fallon.
Sure.
So Fallon, I always kick off these shows with kind of a layup question, but again, people that are trying to get to know you, tell us how you got started in this crazy business.
Oh, crazy business. I was kind of born into it. My mom was a dance teacher, and she ran a performing arts center for many, many years. She was the past president of Dance Masters of America, and this guy already trolling. See, I knew it.
I had to pull it up.
I don't forget. Wet willies all around. So, so my first little stint where I was like, oh, I feel cool. My mom was listed in Who's Who in Entertainment, and I was listed underneath. So I was like, oh, all right. Maybe there's some stake in this. No, I just whatever. But I think that just kind of segued. Dance led to modeling, doing some dance magazine stuff as a kid. And I got into a lot of musical theater, and I loved acting. Acting was kind of my escape, I guess, if you will. I was like the loner kid, like a lot of people are. My mom, excellent mom, really, really consumed with running her studio, and she had to benefit that, to benefit our family. And my dad was like the Jekyll and Hyde type. So when he was cool, he was awesome. When he sucked, he really sucked. And unfortunately, he sucked a lot. So in those times, I kind of found comfort in performing arts. And my grandfather taught me how to build things. He like pulled me into the garage, and with her center, it was all encompassing. I learned how to build sets. I learned the production end of things, like running the shows, the business, recording the music, everything was because of my mom. So it's in a sense always been a part of my life. So it just made sense for me to continue that on into a career.
Awesome. So this is a good question. Perry Shan had a great one a couple shows ago. What was your first job like that's then in the business? And it could be maybe
in the business or outside of the business.
Oh, well, give us the better story, and then maybe we go to the other one then.
All right. So doing stuff with my mom with the studio, I like to answer the phones. So I would jump on like I was running the office. So that was a lot of fun for me, and I enjoyed that. And then there came a time in high school when I was like, I'm not teaching kids how to dance. Like I was rebelling against the establishment, I guess. So she's like, okay, well, go get a job then. So I said, you know what? Fine, I'm gonna go get a job. And this is funny how it circles back around. But a friend of mine got tickets to Family Values. So it was like the Korn concert. It was like Korn and Limp Bizkit. And I told them when I got hired, I'm like, listen, I can't work this one day because I have to go to this concert. So I went and I started this job at a veterinarian hospital, and they start you basically you clean the dog shit. That's what you do, right?
Yeah.
And everybody thought it would be funny, since I was the new girl, to send me to the more aggressive dogs. And I was a little scared at first, and they were like, no, he growls, but he's fine. Like he's friendly once you get in there. Dog crap everywhere. All right. So I was already like, all right, this is literally a shitty job. This is fine. I accept my fate. So I go in, and the door locks behind me, and this dog tackles me and humps me for like 20 minutes. I could not get him off of me. And they were like, you just have to let him go. So I'm like, I just have to endure this for like 20. Are you kidding me? And they just stood there and laughed while I was like, I'm going to spare the graphic details, but it was not fun for me. Okay. And I had to obviously, I left early that day. I took a shower, and the next day was the concert. And then they fired me. They said that I didn't come to work. And I told them this when I was hired. So I literally worked one day, got humped by this vicious dog, covered in crap and whatever else. And then I get fired for going to a Korn concert.
That's definitely a story.
That was my first job.
Wow.
Yeah. Good times. Love that. So I went back to work for my mom for a little bit. Before I worked at Wawa for a little bit after that too. That was fun.
Ooh.
I actually enjoyed that. That was a good time. And we found out that the customers that didn't have the best attitude, you can throw their pickles pretty far and they would stick to everything. So use that for what you will.
Like it's a comment.
Oh, Steve.
It might have been Uncle Creepy. It may have been
Uncle Creepy, not the real. Yeah, it wasn't a real dog.
So good times were had. But then after that, gosh, I went to school for photography because I really wanted to do that. So I got to like develop stuff in the darkroom and whatnot, and that was really cool. And I just started doing a lot in the dance world. We ended up like in the era of mall shows. There were like all of these big companies like Paramount that started approaching my mom, and my mom was like, you know how to run shows, let's do this. So we started organizing like some pretty big events. We did like the red carpet premiere for Racing Stripes when that movie came out. So I organized like all the dancers and did that. And that's how I started doing makeup too. But they kind of just parlayed from one thing to another. And then I started doing some of like the big character acting, like the costume actors. And the first experience I had with that, I was I was Leon in The Puzzle Place, if you've ever seen that kids show back in the day. So Leon's character, he's got this like huge afro, like it was like 3 times the size of my body. Okay, I was way too small for this costume, but I was like, I'll do it. He's cool. So we're going out on stage and my clip broke. So his head's going back and forth. It looks like Exorcist, like it's like spinning around. So I'm trying to hold it. And then the guy who's like running the show was like, you can't, like, are you forgetting the moves? Like, I was like, no, dude, like the head's coming off. So they duct tape the head to the back of the costume. So I go back out and sure enough, I'm like doing my little steps and the friggin' boot comes off. The size of these boots, it was half of my leg. So it looked like my leg fell off in front of all of these kids.
Oh my God.
Look, I'm not the wardrobe department. All right. I can't speak on their behalf, but it was very poorly designed. That led to
poor kids.
oh, I know, right? But then I did a bunch of that. Like I did stuff for FAO Schwartz. I did I was Paddington Bear, I was Curious George, and then I was like, okay, I'm done with this. And ironically, these things always lead into something else, right? So one season at Easter, a friend of mine ran the Easter Bunny at the King of Prussia Mall. And she was like, Fallon, you have experience with this. Like, I really need someone who's experienced. And I was like, listen, I wasn't like taking pictures with kids. Like, that's kind of different. And she's like, no, you'll be great at it. So again, the costume's too big on me. Fine. I'm like sweating to death. And I was like, I feel like a creep. Like, what do you wear under this thing? You know what I mean? You have like kid, like it made me feel so uncomfortable. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to sweat to death. I cannot tell you the amount of times, again, I was Peter pooped on.
Oh God. Yeah, I can imagine.
So that I did that for one season. And then my kids decided that they were going to tell everybody that I was the Easter Bunny in real life. So then there was that. You know.
Todd wants to know if you still have the Paddington Bear costume.
No, I don't. I don't own the Paddington Bear costume.
No,
it was like property of Paramount or something.
Yeah. So I do want you to talk about your music background though, and how you got started in music and where that led to.
So music started with musical theater. And I got to do some really, really cool stuff, which again, I will attribute to my mom. I always will. We did some benefit shows for a couple different events. And then we were asked to do a benefit for 9/11 at Carnegie Hall. So that's like a pretty big venue.
Oh, yeah.
And the director of that show said, Fallon, I know that you sing. I really think you should sing a cappella at this show. And I like shit a brick. I was like, you want me to sing a cappella at this in Carnegie Hall? Like, you're serious, right? Okay. So I was a little mortified, but I sang and I had like a team of dancers behind me. And it was a little intimidating because there were like gospel choirs there. I mean, there were like some big time people. And here I come out on this huge stage, and I had never really performed. I did shows in like high school, you know what I mean? So I come out on this stage and I sang, and the whole, like, you could hear a pin drop, you could hear anything. Like if somebody scratched their knee in the back of the theater, I could hear it. And to my surprise, it stopped and it was dead silent. And I was like, oh God, are they going to like boo me off the stage? What's going to happen? And everybody stood up, and it was like full round of applause, full, like, if there was such a gratifying moment, like people were crying in the front row. It made me feel so good. And I think for what it stood for too, so it was a lot of like victims from 9/11, like their families in the front row. And I ended up getting a really nice write-up about it. And it said, like how my solo voice, like accompanying these dancers, was like a magical part of the event. And I was like, wow, maybe I should do something with this. Like, I don't think I'm the greatest singer in the world, but I was able to do that. I was able to perform at the Sydney Opera House. I got to do a ton of shows. And then I dabbled in music early on. But at the time, my son was really young, and they were trying to push me for summer releases. And it was, I think, very sexualized at the time. And that I just was not, I wasn't feeling it. So I walked from like a pretty big contract, and I was like, maybe I'll touch on it later. And I ghost wrote for a lot of artists, and then it led me into a path into a band that was not a great chapter in my life and a very traumatic experience.
You did get to tour and stuff. And
I did, and that's the great part about it. I mean, I as much as there was a lot of not so great things that came with that, there were equally wonderful opportunities. I got to tour Japan, and I made some wonderful contacts over there, and I still have, you know, my record label in Japan. So I'm actually working on a new EP in accompaniment to the film that I'm working on. So we have some music going on there for the film. And I don't know, like, I feel this is maybe philosophical and a little off topic, but I've really learned, especially over the past 2 years, that the universe, whatever you want to call it, is going to actually put you exactly where you need to be. Even if it's the swiftest, hardest kick in the ass where you're like, what is happening? What's going on here? Like, why? Or, you know, if there's somebody that's not meant to be in your life, they're going to exit. Even if, you know, the world has to fall apart for you to redirect yourself, that's what's going to happen. And anytime in my life where anything has fallen apart, and Brandon knows because he's been in my life for so long, like if things are going to go wrong with me, they go astronomically wrong. And it's almost funny. It seems like it's fake because of some of the stuff that I've dealt with, but I think that that's what's made me truly who I am, and it's made me resourceful. And with all of that stuff happening, like you said, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing today. So whatever, throw it at me. I can take it.
Yeah. Real quick though, a couple people did ask, and I pulled it up on the screen earlier, but a couple people did ask which song you were doing a cappella at Carnegie Hall.
Everybody's Free. Okay. The version that they covered in Romeo and Juliet, because I loved that moment. That like was like an actual beautiful cinematic moment, and that's what I wanted to sing.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. So real quick, so you referenced makeup earlier, and see, I know, but I tell everybody else, like, so you dabble in, like, you know, makeup effects, special effects too, or
I do mainly special effects. So, back, you know, when we had the shows and whatnot with my mom when I was younger, we always had to put together the entire thing for performances, and I started, you know, like just kind of dabbling there. I got a scholarship when I was in high school from a modeling convention, actually, that put me through to get all of these like certifications. You know, and I was with all adults, so I'm like, what, 15, 16 years old, with like these high-end artists that have like worked with like Vogue and like major companies. So that was really cool. And then I used it just kind of as a resource. It wasn't what I necessarily wanted to do, but it was just like another notch in the belt, you know. And then I started working in the haunted attraction industry, and I never had really dabbled with effects makeup before that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a stab at it, literally. And I remember after the second day of working at this haunt, I slit my throat, and I went in and everybody was like, holy shit, like that looks good. And I was like, well, I mean, if you're going to do it, like I was so meticulous about it because like my dad, one of his good qualities, he was actually an EMT and a mobile care coordinator. And when I was a kid, I was fascinated with his medical books. So I would look at all the injuries. Like I was a little morbid, but excuse me.
There's a common thread there with some of the biggest special effects artists. They always say that.
Well, there was so much anatomy in my life. I mean, you got to figure from dance, you know, like you have to be very body aware. And I was a ballerina. So my mom, like with that and muscle therapy. And then at one point I did go to school for muscle therapy too. But I was fascinated with it. I was fascinated with how things worked. And I thought that the path for me was going to be as a forensic pathologist. Like that's really where I wanted to go. But I hated school. Being completely honest, I was so hands-on that I wanted, thank you. I wanted that experience, but I wasn't doing 12 years of med school. You can kiss my ass. I couldn't. I commend anyone that can do that. Like you are a saint in my eyes. But from that, Brandon and I worked on a film, And we had some hiccups along the way, which yay, indie film. But
Oh, yeah.
there were some things where I was like, you know what, Brandon, I'm gonna do this. I'm just taking it over. And I did, and it went pretty well. It really went pretty well. So it was because of that project that launched me doing special effects in film.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So speak a little bit about some of your better experiences in film. Like, I know you've done a wide variety of things from television and film, actually, and one of them was
Yeah.
just mentioned on the screen by our head of security, Manny. So tell us of some great experiences. Banshee could be one, but anything you decide, like.
Banshee is one. So it ended interestingly because the show got canceled, womp womp. But out of any TV show that I ever worked on, that set, that crew, like the cast, were so engaging, so friendly, so like genuine connections on that set. I mean, I had like, and they spoiled us. They really did. I had the most amazing trailer. They gave me like a presidential suite at this hotel. Like, we had drivers, any way that you should be treated. It was that set, which kind of set the bar, I guess, in a little bit of a fashion. But I will honestly never forget it. We shot it in Pittsburgh, and there was another film or another TV show going on out there called The Outsiders, and it was fun because it was like the rival show, but not really. So we would have events together. We had like a softball game. So
That's cool.
it was just it was a good time. I had so much fun on that. It messed me up a little bit because I had to learn to say the Our Father backwards. And I went to a funeral with my grandmother after that show had filmed, and we're in church and they started saying Our Father, and it started coming out of my mouth backwards. And I was like, shit, don't do that. Don't do that. They're going to think you're possessed. But yeah, that's one of my favorites forever.
Awesome,
I really love that.
Tell us a
experience
little bit
lot.
about this one here, because it has a great message that I always thought was cool. Tell us a little bit about this project here and like what it's
Worthless was
about and
cool. Worthless,
it's
I played Nikki. It was a lot of fun. There's a great cast in that as well. Quentin Aaron is in there, who's in my movie. Tara Reid starred, and essentially, I am a bully in that film. There were some people that we really ganged up on, and it's basically karma and how it affects you later in life. So it's a pretty strong anti-bullying message, which is why I was so drawn to it. We had a good time on that as well.
Awesome. So tell us, so that we're here, obviously, I mean, for many reasons, obviously, to let the world know a little bit more about you, but tell us about, we're doing, obviously, the Atlantic City Celebrity Convention this July, but tell us about some of your con experience that you've had before, because I know you had some recent, you had the Vampire Con with our buddy Alton. So tell us, how you feel at these things when you're shown love by a lot of different fans for all the different things that you've done.
What I love about film or television or the creative process in general is that process, and it's what people take from those experiences. So it's all well and good to have a following online and whatnot, and it's okay to read something, right? But for me, I'm a very tangible, physical, holdable type of person. That sounds weird, but you know what I mean. Like, I like things that are in reach. I like real interaction. So to have somebody come up to you and say how you've impacted them, it's not even something that you would necessarily see in the same regard. And that was one thing, circling back to music as well, where there were so many people that, even if it was material I didn't agree with, it was something that took them from a dark place and they found meaning in it. It's just, to me, it's almost like whatever religion you believe, right? Whatever you read, it doesn't matter to me. You can pick and choose what pieces you can relate to your life. So if somebody is able to take something that you've done and paint it in a positive light in their life, or change the way that they've thought about something, or open a new perspective, and you can have that interaction with these people, there's nothing greater than that. Knowing that you touch somebody's life, especially in a positive light, that's what I'm there for. So to actually have a conversation with people too, as opposed to just being like, hey, you're cool, I like your stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really enjoy the engagement. I've honestly never had a bad con experience. So I probably shouldn't say never, but oh, all right. Yeah, I guess it's all right hanging out with him, I guess.
Bowling
He's the
commences.
okayest.
He's the oh yeah. So so last time I saw you at a con, you were promoting Sucks to Suck. So tell us more about that.
So Sucks to Suck has been an adventure. I had a random idea, not this past Christmas, but the Christmas prior. I was on the phone with a friend and I was like, I gotta call you back. So there was like a lull in space and I don't like downtime. So I came up with this concept and everyone was like, you're crazy. Do you know what kind of budget you're going to need for this? And I was like, no, hear me out. We're going to go faux reality. And this is like things I already have access to, conventions I'm already at. Like this, I got a plan. And it took off and it took off really quickly. And in typical indie film fashion, okay, so we'll just fast forward. We had all of the things go wrong, which is okay. That's fine. But then in the past couple weeks, I come to find out that I learned a large chunk of ACAM footage was just gone. Right. So I'm like, how is it just gone? I won't get into details why I think it's gone, but it's just gone. It's fine because it actually set me up on a better path. So essentially now, and I haven't even spoken about this publicly yet, so this will be the first for everybody to know. Thanks to our friends like Steve Barton and Josh Petrino, they're like, well, just reshoot the movie. Yeah. Just reshoot the whole thing the way that you wanted to do it from the gate without anybody else interjecting. Like, this is your story, the way you want to tell it, and there is a message behind it. Do it the way you want to do it. So I said, you know what? You're heckin' right. So that's what I think. I just spit. Sorry. I think that's what we're doing. So I was able to take some of the footage that I shot and Sophie and plug it back into other certain spots. So none of that's going to be lost, but I think it conveys a stronger message. And the message of the entire film is that, yeah, life sucks, but you got to bite back. So basically, based on a true story, it's a girl that has incredibly tragic luck, and she's just out there trying her best, and trying her best leads her down some dangerously dark paths. And then she wrangles her best friend into her misadventures, but their bad luck might just be in their favor. It's a spoiler. I can't tell you.
All right.
It's like Step Brothers gets dark. That's literally my relationship with Sophie. We are just not.
Has a little bit of Scooby-Doo too.
100% Scooby-Doo. Yeah. There's definitely who done it, and the people that you think would have done it are not. Yeah. Who can you trust? Right? Who can you trust? Can you trust anybody?
Well, no. All right, so this is going to be a rapid fire kind of a thing that I've done the last few weeks, and I thought it was kind of cool. I'm going to bring up a photo. I'm going to bring up a photo of something that has to do with you, and you're going to give me a story into what it represents. So,
I'll tell you a story.
We're going to go with the first one right here. That's going to be right out the gate. That you're going to give me a look for. There we go. Bam.
Oh. That is by far one of the worst red carpet pictures I've ever seen. Should we analyze the outfit? I still have that dress and I love it, but that hair, it's not working. That was, God, I don't remember what film that was even for. But I was visiting Knuckle Draggers. Okay, all right. So here's a cool story about that. So my friend Dave DeLuise was the dad on Wizards of Waverly Place at the time. And he's like, hey, I have this premiere that I was going to go to. And I was like, well, that's funny. I got invited to that too. I don't even know what this is. So we go to this event and, because people love to talk if you walk the carpet together. So we purposely walked the carpet separate. And I walk down to the end of the carpet and I see this girl and I'm like, I know you. It was my neighbor growing up, Lisa Waltz, who was a Pet Cemetery girl. So it was just ironic because she's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, well, what are you doing here? So it was a fun time. I had a lot of fun at that. But I feel like I've improved from those looks, hopefully. Probably not.
Here we go next. I have no idea what this is, but bam.
Oh man, I used to shoot a lot of pinup. That was at a car show. And I think I actually still have, I got an award from the mayor of the town where that was. And I suckered my kids. They had like a pinup kind of pageant, and I put them both in it kind of against their will. But I was like, you guys are going to do great. And they both won. So take that.
There you go.
Okay, all right. So next, this reminds me of like the Janet Jackson Busta Rhymes video.
Oh,
What's it gonna be? So is this just a random modeling
it was just a modeling shoot. Yeah. But it looks cool. My tattoos are hidden. So it's got like a Catwoman vibe going.
Oh
I
yeah.
feel like that's a good alter ego. I wish I was that cool.
Awesome. So here we go. Here's another that I have no idea what this represents. There we go.
That's
Bam.
Fallout. So
Oh, okay.
okay, so here's a cool story about that. The bike that's on, so you know how like Fallout the show's on right now, right?
Yeah.
So that bike was custom built by Thomas Williford. If you look up steampunk, he's like the forefather of steampunk. But that
Right on.
bike was designed with him and people from Bethesda who actually did the game. So it's pretty
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's cool.
And then
Awesome.
over this past summer, I got to be the vault girl at the Pioneer Saloon, which is where Fallout New Vegas was actually shot. They had a Fallout event, so I got to be her out there at the place where it was created. Isn't that cool?
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, here we go with another. Bam.
Oh, Hayride to Hell. Two
us
of my
about-
favorite humans, Bill Moseley and Kane Hodder, are great on set. This was an experience because there were a lot of nights on the set where it was like 20 degrees and I thought we were going to just freeze to death. But that was like right when everything was coming out of lockdown and I needed a really strong team. And I kind of threw Sophie to the wolves on that. And I was like, you got this, girl. So she jumped in under me to do special effects and she absolutely killed it.
Awesome.
Absolutely killed it.
Awesome. So tell us about this right here, this project.
Last Call. That's how I met Taryn Manning.
Oh.
I came on to that project in kind of a funny way. So my friend Ethan was working on it and he gets a hold of me and he says, it was called Crabs in a Bucket originally. And he's like, listen, I need a tattoo. And I said, okay, of what? And he was like, well, okay, you see, so there's a storyline in this movie where there's like this checklist. And basically, if you get the girl with this tattoo, if you snag this girl, you like win. And I'm like, okay, I get what you're going at for here, but like, what is this tattoo? So he sends me a reference and it's like a monkey near someone's beehole. And I was like, whoa. And he's like, look, there's no beehole in this movie, but I need like a monkey popping out of some cheeks. I'm like, okay, we can handle special effects. I got you. So I hit my friend Justin, he's a tattoo artist. And I was like, look, if anybody can kill this style, can you draw this out for me? So my intention was just to go there to apply the special effects. And I ended up being the girl with the monkey tattoo on her ass. And it's how Jamie Kennedy and I became friends as well, because I literally had to beat him with a riding crop while he's wearing an adult diaper. So there was a lot of fun to be had on that. I have a lot of projects about that story, and some of them I should probably not talk about on here. It was
It's a
It
shame
was
that
great.
some of that stuff was edited out of the actual.
I
cut of the movie.
know. What the heck? That's all right. I worked on
real
Creed
quick.
for how long, and my whole character was edited out. So I'm used to
There
it.
you go.
Just
All
want
right,
to
so-
thank everybody. Just want to thank everybody so far in the chat. I see Gabe, Kevin, Holly, Todd, obviously,
Thanks, guys.
Caroline, and obviously Steve Barton.
Danny,
Curl Up and
Danny's
Die.
out there.
Yeah, Danny's out there.
I love
Danny, how are
them.
you? And Idrea, and yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in, and they're chatting along. Just so you know, if you're in the chat and I didn't pull up your comment, it was because we're pulling up stuff, so I didn't want to like overlap it. So not that I didn't mean to like not pull up your comments, but they were all just saying beautiful photos, and you know,
Oh, thanks,
and,
guys.
it's all that
Awesome.
stuff. But yeah,
Don't make me blush.
Here's another one. I'm wondering on this one where you're sailing.
Oh,
to.
Jesus. Okay.
where are you sailing to?
Where is this? The Love Boat
So-
here. What is this? What is this?
Sometimes especially like back in the day, I would shoot for a lot of like independent photographers and they paid really well. And this photographer is he's retired now, but he's an incredibly sweet man. But he would always get like all of this crazy wardrobe. And so he got this like latex from a designer and he's like, oh, well, it looks like a sailor. So I guess he submitted I can't talk today. He submitted it to this magazine. And the funny thing is, if you look at the cover, it says Fallon Vendetta spaced out, right? So
Yeah.
part of that, the first time it came out, it said Fallon Vendetta, and it was supposed to be one word anyway, but it wasn't even supposed to be on there. Like it literally was just supposed to say Fallon. And they put my like undercover Instagram handle or whatever at the time as Fallon Vendetta. So I'm like, great. Well, now that's on magazine covers. So I'm like, am I stuck with this name? So she took on her whole own alter ego and stuff like that. I had completely separate from my acting career. My acting career, Fallon Maressa, is my real name. And then Google just put us together. So I'm stuck with Fallon Vendetta forever.
There we go. Fallon Vendetta forever. And this final one here is a very popular cover too that I always thought was dope.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
They got it right though with the Vendetta. So there you go. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Skin Art.
Skin Art's a great company. They are one of the leading tattoo magazines. There are two top that I work with pretty frequently, Skin Art and Inked Magazine. I have a really big campaign coming up for Inked actually as well. But cool. Skin Art, I've done their Halloween cover a couple times. The one after that I was Medusa, but those are my favorite, I think, covers that I've ever done. They're just fun. She's spoopy. I like it.
Awesome. So this last one here, tell us a little bit about that. I know you have some news coming up for it. This right here, bam.
Oh yeah, the Galactic Samurai Schoolgirls from outer space. we've come to take over the planet. Actually, the male species of the planet of Crystal. Yeah, it's a good time. There's actually a red carpet premiere for that on Saturday night, which originally I didn't think I was going to be able to attend. I felt bad because I'm like, hey, your commander isn't going to be at your premiere, but it's going to rain. And now some of my shoot dates look like they're shifting. So I'm going to double duty. Yeah, I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Where's that going to be?
It's funny. It was funny. It is at the N Theater, I believe, in Delaware.
All right. Right on.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. So do you have anything upcoming that you'd like to talk about? You just mentioned that there. Any new projects in the horizon, modeling, acting, special effects?
There's a ton upcoming. I'm working with, I'm not allowed, there's certain things, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about them or not. Circling back to Japan, a good friend of mine, Robbie Bryan, who helped me out a lot with getting Sucks launched.
Good dude.
He's been working on a project called Black Hat, and I actually was just able to link him up with my Japanese contacts. So we're working a lot on that to get him like some really solid animators and get his project pushed more into Japan. So I'm really excited about that. That's his baby. Robbie's such a good guy, and he's really been a true friend. So I was like, I think I got something I can work on. So we'll see how that pans out, but we've both been trucking along at that. I'm starting work on a film called Pony, which is a racing project. A lot of the outside scenes for that are going to be at the Bridgeport Speedway in New Jersey. So that's really exciting. A lot of actual race action going on. And in conjunction with that, I'm doing a project with Josh Petrino and his group called Simultaneous Sneeze. There's a gentleman that he was really good friends with, who's done a ton of amazing things for other people, launched a ton of careers for other comics, really good guy. And he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, which is rapidly affecting his life. And his one wish was to be able to do a project before he could no longer, because he's never been able to do that for himself. So we're filming this really funny short called Simultaneous Sneeze in the next couple of weeks. So between that and Pony, and there's a lot on the plate.
And
I'm
sucks
not
to
mad
suck,
about
of
it.
course. Sucks to
Yeah,
suck.
sucks to suck. We're doing a full relaunch. I'm in the middle of completely redoing the script right now, and I'm really excited about it.
Cool.
So we're looking to start rolling again with that at the end of the summer. But
Awesome.
it's even bigger and better. And Taryn's on board. We have Quentin Aaron, we have Miko Hughes, Catherine Corcoran, Aaron Dallavilla, a guy that says take a seat over there. I won't say his name. It's supposed to be a surprise. But like the cast is absolutely incredible. Everybody's got the best energy and it's fun. I'm looking forward to doing it again, to be honest, because it's just even weirder now. So it's going to be a good time.
Everything comes back around where it needs to be. So, like you
It's
said,
Exactly.
true. It does. It does. So.
Absolutely. So my final question before we asked about where people can find you, I always asked about inspiration, whether it's ups or downs. We both had plenty of them. All of us have had plenty of them
Yeah.
in this crazy business. So just send some advice out to people that are watching, whether actors, special effects, music, anything. It's all difficult, but it's all obviously worth it and fulfilling if you're able to follow and reach your dreams.
Right.
So tell us, just speak to the audience basically about.
I mean,
some thoughts. About
my whole thing with any of this is that being creative is a gift. Not everybody is able to have that gift. A lot of people wish that they could, whether
Yeah.
it's like scrapbooking, whether it's doing makeup, whatever it is, if it's something that you find passion in, if it's something that you find, a way to bring out your inner child, your creativity, whatever it is, try it. It doesn't mean you're going to be great at it. It doesn't matter if you're great at it. If you're trying it, I feel like you're already great in my book. There's plenty of things that I do that, am I like the absolute top at that? No, but that's how you gain experience and that's how you gain knowledge. And I feel like if you are able to take any of those pieces and use them to parlay into your everyday life, that in itself is something to be said. Like art literally saved my life. It gave me something to look forward to when I felt like I had absolutely nothing. And by changing my perspective on things, we kind of talked about this earlier, there were a lot of times in my life where things did go really, really terribly wrong. And when you think that nothing else could go wrong, it's even worse. It was in those moments where I really stepped back, and things that you would have normally taken for granted, they were things that I valued even more. And I'm like, look, I'm breathing today. Tomorrow's a different day. Things are going to work out, and it's a redirection. And I think it's those moments of redirection that become the greatest inspiration, because I told Brandon too, I have a plan for the end of Sucks now. And a lot of the people that have screwed me over along the way, I'm going to thank, because truly I wouldn't be at this point in my life without those experiences, whether they were good, whether they were negative. That brought me to the place where I am. And that's what I'm so grateful for. And the whole gratitude is the attitude thing is really the core of it all. Being grateful for what you have and not setting limits on yourself. Knowing, yes, sometimes maybe I should take a nap. Maybe I shouldn't eat that donut. Okay. You should probably eat the donut. I like donuts. But, just perseverance is the strongest thing that you can do. And learning that if someone tells you no to something that you have a goal for, why stop if it's something that you're passionate about? Like take that as an opportunity to, like, if it's a no, if you audition for a role and you're not right for that role, that's okay.
Yeah.
You learn something by going to that audition. Take that with you and apply it to the next role. Like, as long as you keep trying, you're constantly growing. There was a statistic that I just heard too. It's something like the average actor to get into like a major project, or to get hired at all, it's something like 63 auditions before you even land one. So you have to be able to let people tell you no. If they are telling you no, it is 100% they're telling you no for a reason. Find your yes elsewhere, but don't stop until you find your yes.
Persistence is what we've been hearing from a lot. When we asked this question to a lot of the previous guests, they're pretty much saying the same thing that you're saying right there. That just don't give up, and if you really want to do it, you just gotta take the beatings and just keep going.
Don't give up, and be prepared when right. And be prepared that when you do get any kind of light or attention, it puts a lot into perspective. And, you know, not to like throw Sophie on blast here, but she is newer to the spotlight. She's my co-star and sucks if I haven't said that. I know we showed her picture, but she's incredibly talented and she worked really hard to get to where she is. And oh, she's so pretty. You know, yes, whenever I had an opportunity that I was able to bring her along, I did. But there's plenty of things that she's done on her own that have nothing to do with me whatsoever. In the past couple of weeks, you know, she was announced as a celebrity guest and it was her first show and Brandon was there for that. And she sat on the panel and she was so grateful and she teared up and made me tear up. I'm like tearing up about it now. But she's a very grateful human being. And a lot of people came out of the woodwork that you could tell were just kind of fishing or they were trying to have some kind of gain. And then people that she thought were her friends, I say friends loosely, then had something to say about it. And you have to be aware that that's going to happen. People online are going to attack you. People online are also going to show you love. You have to be able to put things into perspective and take as much positive away as possible and drown any of that out, because anything that's like a negative impact, like the only thing you're doing with that is hurting yourself. So let those people burn themselves out, have fun, get it. Maybe they need a creative hobby, essentially is what it is. They're jealous that you have a hobby and they do not. So maybe take up writing. That's kind of my suggestion to trolls. A lot of them are very creative. I don't understand why they don't write. Like it's such a wasted opportunity, you know? Like the heck.
Yeah.
But just have a thick skin and persevere. Just persevere. Like I had a boss at another job that we didn't talk about, but somebody came into work one day a little tipsy and she shut the door behind him and she said, I know nobody else saw this. I'm going to give you an opportunity here. You're not driving. We're going to get you a car. You're going to leave. And this is never going to happen again. And hopefully it's going to change your life and you're going to make a better decision. Yeah. She said, we're going to turn this lesson into a blessing. And I will never forget her saying that. Yes. She was this like Southern Creole lady. She was amazing. And I didn't like her before that because she seemed really stern and just kind of nasty. But in that moment, I was like, damn, this chick knows what she's talking about. And I really respected her after that. And it goes through my head all the time. And I really looked up to her for that. And I think about that a lot. Like, turn this lesson into a blessing. Like literally.
One of our favorite people says that a lot. And
I love it. You know someone else who says that?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, I gotta meet him.
We say it all the time to each other when we're not around him because he says,
I've never even heard you, Brandon.
He says it all the time. Yes. We're going to give a shout
destiny.
out.
Look at this.
Give a shout out to Gio Drasconi out there.
Gio Drasconi, yeah. We got to get him.
Is that who says it?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know who you are, Gio, but heck yeah.
He's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah. So that was all well spoken, Fallon. We like. I just want to piggyback that a little bit. Like the support is appreciated because again, I mean, it's a Herculean effort for anything to make it in this career.
It is, and look out for the people that look out for you genuinely. Like that's how you get ahead. I think there's so much room for growth and gain and opportunity, and a lot of people feel like you're not in competition with anyone. You're not. Exactly. You're in competition with yourself. So the whole point is to help each other thrive. Mm-hmm. Anyone who ever got anywhere, like, let's take a tree, for example, okay? How does a tree grow? It's got soil, it's got sun, it's got water. It can't do it on its own. They even send out their little tree signals to other trees. They look out for each other, right? So if you're going to be successful in anything, yes, there are plenty of people that got to a point doing really malicious things. You don't need to do that. If you have a team of people where you look out for each other, you genuinely want to see each other succeed, that's all you need. Yeah. That's really all you need. Just be a good freaking person. Be a good person.
Absolutely.
Not hard.
And we appreciate everybody that's watching, and we appreciate the support from you, from Sophie, from everybody that's watching this show, everybody that shares our convention information all week long that we put out. Like,
Please
thank you,
subscribe
everybody.
to the channel. Like, we're trying to grow this too. Like, so please subscribe. Just because this is where we're going to be doing all our interviews with all the guests from the convention leading up to this. So if you want notifications on this, make sure you're subscribed so you get the notifications. In case
Absolutely.
you're not on Facebook,
It takes a village to build a convention, to build a career.
That it does. And sometimes
anything.
you got to vote people off the island. That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Happy,
yes.
smooth sailing, pal. That's good. Best of luck to you.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. There's a Tyler Perry video that I love that says not everybody's meant to be on the journey with you. Some people are meant to teach you a lesson along the way and then move on and do whatever they do. And you're meant to go forward and reach your goals and your aspirations and your dreams. So it's very true. And it's
fine. Bless their heart.
Difficult to find your tribe, but once you find that tribe, then you're off and running to do all the dope things you want to do in your life. So again, thank you to everybody that's watching. Like the reception tonight's been amazing. I see a lot of people in the chat that are here to support Fallon.
Thank you everybody in the chat tonight.
Thanks, guys. That means a lot for listening to my
75 comments, and that's by far the most comments of any show that yeah. So we appreciate you, Fallon. Much love.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And absolutely. So everybody at Fallon, let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
Yeah.
Well, since I'm stuck with Fallon Vendetta, that's where you can find me. So if you Google Fallon Maressa or Fallon Vendetta, it'll lead you down many paths, maybe the dark web, I don't know. I can't say. But if you go to like Instagram, Fallon Vendetta, if you go to Facebook, it's Fallon Vendetta, 2 words because you can't have it as one. But Sucks to Suck Film is on Instagram. That's in the process of being updated. So pretty much if you just look it up, it'll come up everywhere. It's not hard to find.
Awesome. So without further ado, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I'm excited to hang out with you guys at the convention.
Actress, special effects artist, all around awesome person, the great Fallon Maressa. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Bye.
We will see you at the Atlantic City Celebrity Convention.
I'll see you then. Thank you.
Everybody, please go to brantim.realms.tv and get your tickets. And please, we will see you in July. There you go. It says it on the bottom right there. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night.